Alright, ran around one more time in Streetcar. And here's where it starts getting hard. As long as I'm doing it continuously, you can see the whole flow of play. But, by the way, this reminds me, let's just go off on a tangent of Hello Gregor's little Real People. And I'm thinking, I got a whole matchbox, all 50 presidents. I could use them in the same way. I think I'd have a lot more fun playing different presidents. We have to Hooverize. Oh, well. Alright, so player 5, what the hell is he doing? HKL, he's got this problem where he tried to drive it down to the H's. What we saw is this silly little loop here. Now what that came from is player 1 ditched things down this way to try to whip this around to 1. And player 2, who has almost the same route but wants to get down to 2, brought it down this way. Basically, the tiles that they had put them in a position where they had to make this, decision as to where they want to go with the thing. Now, 1's track is cleaner. It's going to run right through there. Of course, they're running CGM, GMC. This is pretty much the same. Player 2's got CGK, G, where's K? KC. They've got some extra stops on the way. 2 especially has this. 1's going to be able to get this cut here, which is kind of sweet. 2 would like to have built this, but it's not worth the upgrades to necessarily grab the extra spaces. Anyway. One thing I'm thinking is that these may be actually balanced so that it's very likely that if you have this card, other people are going for the same or similar things like we see here with 1 and 2. 2 CGK, 1 CGM. Well, let's see. So, some of these others don't necessarily match, but I think there's a higher likelihood of correspondence between what players are going for rather than absolutely opposition. Which means that people will always have some incentive to be working together to some extent. Alright, let me plug this back in and I'll keep whipping around, I guess. Going around like this, my mind's always on the last player to go, player 2 in this case, who seems to have kind of revealed themselves. They played here saying, no, I don't want to hit this, and curved down here, which almost assuredly is saying, I am player 2. So now you're seeing, geez, player 2's a risk. People might be interested in trying to block them if they have nothing better to do. We've got some weird play going on around here where somebody curved down and then somebody else started building off here. This is not like an 18XX game in that you don't have to worry about, hey, can I run a train on that track yet? As long as you maintain the legitimate pathways, you don't have to worry about, hey, does this actually go back somewhere? You can lay the track anywhere just so long as it all connects in some way. You can't lay, you couldn't lay a piece here that went into either of these or didn't go here, right? Okay. Otherwise, I don't think anybody else has really revealed who they are quite so strongly. Players 4 and 5, there was some thought about it, but now it's becoming more blurred. But this is a definite move that shows this is who I am. And now people can definitely start working against them. 1 would have probably done the same thing, breaking out this way, but they didn't have the piece to do it. Now they do. Of course, this doesn't link. Let's see. But it doesn't have to because we're heading down that way. So yeah, that's pretty sweet for 2. They're pretty much set up. Unless somebody starts blocking them, they're going to be able to make it. 1's not far from that either, but they've got a little further to go because they're following the same track 2 is all the way down to here and then have to go a little further. And now with player 1, he's in this really painful position where it's hard to decide what to do. Let me go through some of the thinking because he's having a really tough time here. He's got this AEL run. He's got to get into 5. He could set this up, but that would reveal where he is and where he's going. Doesn't want to do that yet. One of the few things he has going for him is nobody knows what he's doing because He's so out of it. Of course, he could play this. That's not so bad. That would again reveal it, though. But this is a piece that's hard to use. Okay, so now let's say he can get to A. And he could play some pieces off of A down here. But that's tough, too. He doesn't have a lot here that he could really play. Doesn't have the straights or anything like that, and this piece doesn't let you go straight across, right? It lets you go down or up, but it doesn't let you go across. Then coming over to this side, which is where he was working, he wanted to run up here and come down to L. Puts this curve in, he doesn't have a straight to play here. He can't play his only straight because it's blocked by that piece. So then he might end up getting blocked by somebody else playing a stop somewhere else off L. That would suck. Going over to E, that may be his best move out here. I think this is where he's going to go. And now he doesn't really want to play this straight here. And that's the problem. He does not have a good play anywhere else. I think what he's going to do is play down here for this. It's not optimal, but it's not too bad. Right. This guy over here has not revealed his rail line, but he's done something weird with this and building, I think, over here, which seems to indicate, maybe not that. It was this curve back, which seems to indicate he may be trying to hit L. People may try to stop that, but everybody's got their own little problems too. In a two-player game, you can focus much more on boning your opponent. In more players, I think it becomes harder and harder to really be dicky, which, again, I think the game may be at its best in two. This guy over here has declared himself, essentially. He built this and that. And that's basically saying, I'm going to 1. Could be that it's not the case. If he had no straights whatsoever, maybe he's got some plan to loop in here. But come on. Everybody's pretty sure he's going to 1. Likewise, 2 has absolutely declared himself with these moves. Nobody's got any question in their mind with that. So right now, players 4 and 5, nobody knows what terminals they're going for, nor how close they are. You know they're not going to your terminal, but there are a lot of other options. 4 and 5, well, 4 looks close. 5's got some heavy work to do. 6 has some serious lifting to do. So right now the feeling is, well, 5 and 6 probably aren't in play. Well, what about 3? The world's set up that way. Who played those? I don't remember. So it's hard to tell until somebody's obviously clear in a multiplayer game. In a two-player game, you know what your opponent played and what you played. So it's pretty easy to kind of discern once they start revealing what they're doing. Sometimes it's not clear if they're building their own track or screwing you over, though, and that's kind of the difference. Speaking of screwed over, if you can remember, player 5 had wanted to run this up here and then this way. Well, now he's got his stop here, so he's going to have to shoot down and around, perhaps. At this point, he starts thinking, is there some other route that makes sense? I don't think so. Because so much track has been laid this way and I still got to get back this way. The alternative would be maybe to run down this way, around, and then back down or something. But usually you want to try to make your track as clean and easy as possible. I think we're at the point where it's about time to start making dicky moves. Player 4, running BHL. Wants to hook into here. Ding, 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 ding. Shoot down. Not that way. He wants to slide up into here. Now, he doesn't have the pieces to hook this up. He's got to come down here. Then this is going to be tough unless he can get an upgrade, right? Alternatively, he could go up this way. That may be his best route. Which means this kind of play. What he's seeing there is that if he comes up this way, gets into this H world, if he has to make it this way, then he can curve down here to H and then maybe get up this way or maybe go around. Hard to tell. Doesn't look pleasant right now, but he thinks he's going to have to use that. And now the question is what his other piece is. He doesn't want to declare himself with either of those pieces. That would just be too obvious at this point. Whereas this is not obvious at all. Alright. And player 1 here has problems too. You can try to link this, but his next piece is a pure bonage move right here. Directing this 2-track back this way. He can't reverse this. He's going to have to build new track coming out of there to try to fix that. So he's added an extra track light. Why would you do this? Well, he had nothing else that would help him. I mean, he could play track here that would declare himself, and he is pretty much declared, but the only thing he had was something like this. Maybe it was wiser to not attack someone, but this looked pretty appealing given the situation. Alright, once more around, and we're kind of in the end game here. Player 5 finally declared themselves. Now, they're a long ways from winning, and everyone's pretty much along the lines of, so what? We don't know where you're going, but we know you got to get up there, and there's not a lot of track up there, so okay, we can ignore you. We don't have to try to bone you. Player 4 still didn't declare anything, but they're having trouble in hooking some of this stuff up. That's not really working very well for them. They've got a long ways to go. If they were just getting into here, hey, that would be great. But they've got to whip into here, and then they've got this BHL. B is easy. L, they're having trouble getting to. They haven't gotten the pieces yet. They've been stuck with this one, which goes in the wrong direction. And really don't have the kind of tiles that they need to hook themselves up. But then they got to get around to H. And when they get to H, then they loop around and come back. That's not so terrible, but they do have to stop here twice, which maybe they'd like to optimize. Player 1, getting close. Snaking their way closer here, but they still haven't broken through here. They don't have the track to do it yet. Player 2's hooked. I don't know if they're going to play yet, but they're running, what is it? CGK. There's their G, K, C. Oh no! They screwed up. Oh man, I just did them. So let me look to see if I've got another option here. I think they played this one, but I know they played this. I thought they was hooked. This'll do. That'll get them down to there. Now they still have to make this connection, so they're going to have another play, and I think their other play is going to be using something like this to try to bone one, if they can figure out a way to do it. I'm not sure if there is a way. Oh, this isn't legal. One cheated. Well, they can't play this tiles. So I'm going to toss that back on them. They just lost a play for cheating. That'll teach them. Alright, we'll load this up. I think 2's well in the lead, but I thought they were at the I thought they were all set. Oh well.